Coming up next on the news, a new study shows Rhode Island has the lowest highway fatality rate among men in the country.
Tariffs on Japanese electronics sends Wall Street into a frenzy.
And an exciting game for the National Basketball Collegiate Championship. We'll have a live report.
Nightside is next.
Oh, hey everybody, it's me, Mr. Bill. Hey! And you know, when you're in the entertainment business, you have to be traveling coast to coast all the time.
Say, Mr. Bill, you've got a long trip ahead of you. You'll need something to help keep you awake.
Well, I've been really trying to cut down on my coffee lately.
Then how about some drugs?
Oh, no, drugs are bad, and you kids out there should never, ever use them.
Oh, come on, try some. So remember, kids, say,
Oh, no!
to drugs.
Rhode Island's WIC program offers pregnant women nutritious foods and nutrition education absolutely free. The idea behind WIC is that mothers who eat well have healthier babies. Many pregnant women who qualify for WIC don't apply. Maybe they think their family income is too high. In fact, 1 of every 3 pregnant women in our state is eligible. Call the Rhode Island Department of Health at 277-3940.
Remember, healthier mothers have healthier babies.
Channel 12 is right at home with
Huge tariffs on some Japanese products mean higher prices for consumers.
And all the Marines at the U.S. Embassy in Moscow will be on their way home soon. Good evening. Our top story tonight, Rhode Island has earned the distinction for having the lowest highway fatality rate for men.
That's according to a report released today by Metropolitan Life Insurance. Channel 12's Chris Luke joins us now with details. Chris?
Janice, the rest of the nation isn't doing as well as the Ocean State. Death rates on the interstates are up for the first time since 1973. The Metropolitan Life Insurance study shows that 20 out of every 100,000 motorists died last year, a 3% increase over 1985. Highway deaths have dropped since the speed limit was cut 14 years ago from 70 to 55. Now there is a move to boost it to 65 on highways, and much of the pressure is coming from rural states, where ironically the MetLife report shows motor vehicle fatalities rose last year for the first time since the 55 speed limit was imposed. It is the less densely populated areas, states a report, where 63% of the highway deaths occurred. Wyoming led the nation in highway fatalities. That state had 86 deaths for every 100,000 men, whereas Rhode Island had only 26 deaths for every 100,000 men. No figures were available for Rhode Island women. Neighboring Massachusetts had 32 highway deaths among its men and 9 among its women, the nation's lowest, says MetLife.
What it shows is, I think...
The head of the governor's Highway Safety Office credits Rhode Island's tough drunk driving laws.
We've attacked the drunk driving laws legislatively. We've done a lot of public information and education programs, like in Rhode Island, drunk drivers get caught. We're doing an awful lot in the year of alcohol and substance abuse. You know, all of that adds up to a low fatality rate nationally. A lot of the other states haven't done this.
While drunk driving is still the grim reaper on our nation's roadways, speed also kills, says Walsh.
If you raise that speed limit to 65, if we do studies within a 3-month period after that, people aren't going to be doing 65, 70, they're going to be doing 80. And, you know, there's an old correlation. I can bring out hundreds of studies from my office that speed kills. And we're going to be killing more people and injuring more people on our interstate highway system, pure and simple.
While one study may not make a difference, President Reagan did veto last Friday a bill to boost the interstate speed limit to 65, but an override is expected later this week, Janice.
Okay, thank you, Chris, for that report. Well, that treacherous section of Route 195 in Providence is going to be revamped. State Transportation Director Matthew Gill says the twisting roadway will be straightened out to cut down on accidents like this one. Gill says the highway was designed in the 1950s, and it can no longer handle the 160,000 cars that travel it daily. Preliminary work is scheduled to begin in June. The project will take about 7 years to complete.
Since last Friday, we've been hearing about the Reagan administration's plan to impose huge tariffs on Japanese electronic import parts. But what does that mean to the consumer? A 100% duty on Japanese microchips means consumers will be paying a lot more for brands like Sony, Sanyo, and Hitachi. Prices are expected to double on items like TVs, radio, phonograph tape players, power hand tools, and even refrigerators. But items like VCRs and microwaves won't be affected.
I think that the effects are going to be more symbolic than they will be real, because we're only talking about $300 million worth of goods.
But economists are predicting that by midsummer, the high price for Japanese care will make them hard to sell. The effects of the tariffs on Japanese electronics are already being felt on Wall Street even this day. Today, the Dow Jones closed down more than 57 points. That's the third largest daily loss ever recorded. But the decline comes as no surprise. Friday, when the tariff was first announced, the dollar hit a new post-World War II low against foreign currency.
Oh, I think the market was set up late last week for a quick, short, sharp, dramatic shakeout, as so often punctuates a major bull market, and I think that's exactly what we got.
Today, 280,440,000 shares were traded.
The U.S. State Department is calling home all 28 Marines stationed at the U.S. Embassy in Moscow. This comes after last week's news that 2 other Marines are suspected of helping Soviet agents roam around the embassy there. Defense Secretary Caspar Weinberger says the 28 will be questioned about the espionage affair, but they are not suspects.
It has no slight suggestion that anyone else is implicated in this or that anyone is involved in it anywhere else in the world.
The State Department is also looking into its own apparent security failure.
Of all involved in the security is under review, and we will take whatever steps are deemed appropriate.
Accused spy Sergeant Clayton Lonetree is scheduled for a hearing April 15th. Corporal Arnold Bracey is expected to be formally charged later this week. Topping our news file, Soviet leader Mikhail Gorbachev says he is ready to talk about human rights, but only if the topic includes problems in the West. He made those remarks today during a banquet for visiting British Prime Minister Margaret Thatcher. Gorbachev says that he talked openly and honestly about unemployment, homelessness, and discrimination in the West. In Spain, a trial got underway today for 40 people charged with causing history's largest mass food poisoning. The 40 allegedly sold rapeseed oil as olive oil back in 1981. 586 people died from it, and nearly 25,000 others suffered severe illness. And a rescue worker testified at a federal inquiry today that an assistant conductor on the Amtrak train involved in January's fatal accident had been drinking. 16 people, including 2 Westerly, Rhode Island girls, were killed in that crash.
The fate of the fire-ravaged outlet company building could be decided by the end of April. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Rhode Island are expected to decide by April 30th whether to locate their new headquarters in Johnston or the outlet building in Providence. Claremont Associates, a Boston developer, bought the building before a fire destroyed it last October. Claremont has since scrapped plans for the building because of the fire and changes in federal tax laws. Claremont officials and Mayor Paolino say the building will likely be demolished if Blue Cross chooses the Johnston site. Construction has begun on what used to be a famous 8-acre rose garden in Barrington. 2 years ago, 91-year-old Carl Jones was forced to sell his rose garden that had been a landmark in Barrington for 50 years. Several town residents had mounted a campaign to save the roses, but they were unable to raise enough money. The land was then sold to a developer. Construction has now begun on the first of 6 house lots there. The owner says every single rose worth saving has been transplanted. Still to come on our Nightside Report tonight, poor blood circulation in the legs used to mean amputation. We'll show you how doctors can now avoid that.
And it went down to the wire in the NCAA championship game. We'll have a live report from New Orleans.
They're unemployed, on the dole, getting welfare. They say it's almost impossible to find a job that pays them as much as welfare payments. On the next Oprah Winfrey Show, a hot debate with and about welfare recipients. Should they be denied welfare payments if they don't work? Should welfare recipients be forced to work? We'll talk about it. Both sides on the next Oprah Winfrey Show.
Relentlessly, the universe comes into question because we cannot rest without knowing. We must see it from all sides and share the pleasures. but there is risk in failing to see the dangers. Every night, Ted Koppel asks the questions you would ask, challenges the people you would challenge, but remains fair.
We do bring people together who are worlds apart.
ABC News Nightline immediately following Channel 12 News tonight at 11:30. Watch for it right at home.
A familiar voice will soon be heard on the Rhode Island radio airwaves.
Marianne Sorrentino begins a new job as a radio talk show host on WHJJ May 4th. Confrontational and controversial, the former Planned Parenthood director joins the ranks of such radio celebrities as former Mayor Buddy Cianci and former Attorney General Arlene Violet. Sorrentino will fill the noon to 2 p.m. slot on the top-rated talk show station.
My motive is to get on the air and get women's perspective on the air and to have the best damn radio talk show that I can have.
A large part of the decision to hire her was based upon the fact that the woman is talented, she's educated, she's a native Rhode Islander, and as I've stated, she's a gutsy person.
Since leaving Planned Parenthood, Sorrentino has expressed an interest in politics and says that she is not ruling out a run for elective office despite her new job. Tonight, former mail carrier Richard Brindle is free on personal recognizance after pleading not guilty to charges of destruction of mail. Brindle is accused of dumping more than 70 sacks of mail over a 2-year period in the backyard of his Lincoln home. The sacks were discovered earlier this month by the new owner of that home. U.S. Postal Service employees salvaged 94,000 pieces of mail dating back to 1985 and delivered them along with letters of apology. Brindle's trial date has not yet been set.
Union workers at the Briar Cliff Nursing Home in Johnston have voted unanimously to accept a new contract offer there. The workers had threatened to strike several times since their contract expired at the end of February. The main stumbling block was the facility's use of temporary non-union workers. The president of the Rhode Island Workers Union told us tonight that higher wages and guaranteed benefits under the new contract will hopefully attract permanent employees and phase out those temporary workers. The new contract will expire in August of 1988. Losing a leg can be catastrophic. Each year, over 35,000 people have a leg amputated, mainly because of diabetes. But in tonight's 90-second house call, our medical editor, Joan Thomas, tells us that vascular bypass surgery is saving the legs of a growing number of patients.
Over the years, surgeons have felt that a quick, clean, early amputation is better than attempts at limb salvage bypasses that don't work.
But amputation for elderly people like these can be catastrophic. So surgeons have been improving methods of restoring circulation to the legs and feet.
All we really try to do is maintain the patient with a functional limb that allows him or her to walk.
The cause of the problem is arteriosclerosis, a thickening and narrowing of artery walls. It happens often to elderly diabetics, and when it occurs in leg arteries, it can result in a sore that doesn't heal, and gangrene, a primary reason for amputation. But now surgeons are saving legs with what is called a bypass operation. A segment of vein from somewhere else in the patient's body is used to bypass the blockage and restore blood flow to the foot. If the surgery is unsuccessful, surgeons will try again, using artificial blood vessels if the patient doesn't have any more of his own to spare.
More and more of what we thought were situations which were hopeless are in fact not hopeless, and we can really save those people's legs.
I couldn't walk before, and when I left his hands, I was fine. I was able to walk, jump, dance if I wanted to.
Patients return to the hospital for frequent follow-up visits. But as long as they are walking into the hospital, they really don't mind.
Believe me, it's not like having your 2 feet walk on and stand on.
This patient's artery is completely blocked. But at Rhode Island Hospital, limb-sparing surgery to correct this problem has almost become routine. Fewer and fewer diabetics will ever have to face the loss of a leg. Joan Thomas, Channel 12 News, Nightside.
He's right again. It's raining. Almost cats and dogs. Here's John.
You know, the computer in this case has indicated we get up to about 3 inches of rain with the storm. We'll see if that happens. In any case, tomorrow is going to be a mighty soggy one. The complete forecast coming in.
I know what that translates into snow, too. I shall forget it.
Don't even mention it.
Let's take a look at the winning lottery numbers. Here in Rhode Island, 7566, Massachusetts 6850, Connecticut 832. We'll be back.
Hurry, hurry, hurry! Ladies and
gentlemen,
may we present for your entertainment
those daring young men on their flying trapeze.
I used to do that until I grew out of the tights.
That daring young woman at the end of a rope.
Right.
And some daring young dogs on the tips of their toes.
This is a three-ring circus around here. What is it?
It's the greatest show on earth. Circus Week on the Hollywood Squares.
Weekday afternoons at 5, right after the Oprah Winfrey Show.
Have you ever wondered what it would take to say no to the chain of cigarettes, the taste of alcohol, the binging and purging of food, the lure of cocaine? Now, the answers are here in a Life Quest special presentation as Merlin Olsen shows you three individuals who fought the fear and frustration of everyday addiction and found help and hope for the hidden addict on Life Quest.
A special presentation, Thursday night at 9.
Good evening, everybody. Yeah, the computer has indicated that up to 3 inches of rain could fall by actually Wednesday night associated with this storm. And it doesn't seem that far-fetched, really, because Cape Hatteras in the last 6 hours, that is Cape Hatteras, North Carolina, has picked up 2¼ inches of rain. There's an awful lot of water out there, and it looks like a lot of it is headed toward us. Let's take a look at our statistics for the day. They're really not all that bad. 56 was the high, low this morning 38. Currently, we stand a degree higher than we did at 6 o'clock last evening. That was Monday night. It's Tuesday morning now. 52 is the present temperature, with some moderate rain falling outside. The humidity now at 93%, a south wind at 14. The barometer falling now from 29.99 with a dew point at 50 degrees. Well, the rain does continue to come down. We'll show you the radar in just a second. We're at 52 in Providence, 54 right now at Boston. Cape Cod still the cool reading with 46. Here's what's going on aloft. The view from the weather satellite really shows this pipeline of moisture pretty well. And it ranges from heavy snow out in the Midwest. They had up to 20 inches of snow in Kansas, Nebraska, and the Dakotas yesterday. They've had drifts something like 8 to 10 feet and wind gusts in the range of 55 miles an hour. Most of that in the nation's midsection, but snow now falling in the Ohio Valley. Louisville, Kentucky in the last 6 hours has picked up 8 inches of snow. And snowfall rates of about 1 to 2 inches an hour are not uncommon. That's on the cold side of the storm. We're on the warm side of the storm where the heavy rain is falling. And as I said, Cape Hatteras, North Carolina picked up about 2 inches of rain, a little over 2 inches of rain in the last 6 hours or so. That moisture is headed toward us. Here's the sequence of satellite pictures. It shows the thing advancing fairly steadily toward us. The storm center itself now still well away, still down in the southwest of our area, essentially right about over Charleston, West Virginia. That is all headed up to the northeast. And here is the radar. It shows that the soaking rain really has crossed our area now, and it just gets heavier and heavier as you go down along the Atlantic seaboard. Unfortunately, it's not moving to the east, it's moving to the northeast, so it's coming toward us endwise. So at least for the next 24 to 36 hours, we'll have just about exactly what's going on outside now. The forecast for tomorrow calls for rain and gusty winds. The other thing that you probably ought to be aware of is at the time of high tide tomorrow, there could be some coastal flooding with the southeast wind tending to push the ocean inland, and that would tend to cause that coastal flooding. Rain and very gusty winds tomorrow, and not a great deal of change for Wednesday. Showery and colder. Temperatures, in fact, declining as we move toward the end of the week. Here's the forecast now for the remainder of the overnight period tonight. Clouds, showers. There could even be a rumble of thunder in there. Temperatures near the 50-degree mark. Tomorrow, rain, gusty winds with, as I said, coastal flooding possible at the time of high tide. 54 to 59 tomorrow. That's about the warmest it'll be for the time being, though, because Wednesday things really turn colder. Morning clouds, maybe a little bit of clearing by the afternoon. Still a chance of some morning showers, though. Temperatures starting off in the upper 40s, falling into the low 30s by Wednesday night. Thursday, partly sunny, 46. Friday, a chance of some showers. Looks like it'll clear out by the weekend, but at that point, temperatures are going to stay low, below normal. In the meantime, the next 24 hours, a lot of soaking rain.
Sounds like a crocus alert to me,
that's
for sure.
Damp week. Well, today is the 134th anniversary of the birth of artist Vincent van Gogh, and he'd probably roll over in his grave if he knew how much one of his paintings sold for today. His masterpiece, Sunflowers, sold for more than $36,000 at an auction in London. That's a world record for a painting sold at a public auction. Christie's auction house refused to even hint at the name or even the nationality of the buyer. Sunflowers is the only Van Gogh painting not hanging up in a museum.
Well, in sports tonight, there's something new in the Roger Clemens standoff with the Red Sox.
And the Indiana Hoosiers beat the Syracuse Orange and capture the NCAA basketball championship. Ron St. Pierre has our sports next.
Spring has arrived at Rhode Island Mall, and it's the place to be for spring savings and values. At Tilden Thurber, her present comes from the past. Tilden Thurber's estate jewelry department offers unique gift ideas for someone special. Baskin-Robbins has fresh-baked waffle cones with your choice of dry toppings, and of course, 39 delicious flavors of ice cream. Just Pants is more than just pants. Guys and girls find the latest in fashion tops and bottoms, featuring sunset blues, Zeppelin, and more. So hurry in today and celebrate spring at Rhode Island Mall, your stomping grounds for style.
Recently on Tuesday's Child, you met the Burke family of Portsmouth. Stephen Burke, a career Navy man, his wife Jill, and their 2 children, Dustin and Autumn. Last February, something special happened. They welcomed 13-month-old Stephanie, a special needs child with Down syndrome, into their home.
And how do you feel going through the experience with Stephanie now?
I would never change it. I'd do it again.
Share a special moment with Tuesday's Child, right at home on Channel 12 News.
When you can't read and write, deep down in the inside of you, there's a pain, there's a hurt. And when I broke out and said, hey, I can't read, I've never been to school, that freed me. And it is something that I can't explain. I'm so free. All the guilt for many years in my life now has turned into joy.
It's never too late to learn to read, and you can start right at home weekdays.
Ron St. Pierre really knows how to pick him. His prediction right on the money.
Oh, yeah. With 7 seconds to go, right on the money. Thank you, Janice. Evening, everybody. Mark this one down as one of the all-time best. From start to finish, a real burner. Indiana comes away with the national championship by scoring a last-second 74-73 win over the Syracuse Orangemen in New Orleans. Great game. Syracuse dominated the boards. Freshman Derek Coleman, 19 boards in the night. Look at Ronnie Cycle's strong second effort there, and he gets the basket. Orangemen were just flying high. Greg Monroe winds up on the tail of the break. 3-point play right there. And Syracuse controlled the tempo in the early going. Sherman Douglas just inside the 3-point line, 2 of his 20. But guess who kept Indiana in this one? Steve Alford from 3-point land. 7 3-pointers tonight. Alford will go again for 3. He had 23 points. And just before halftime, watch him use the screen. And he'll pop another 3-pointer, 33-32 Indiana at the half. In the second half, Syracuse would come out and run up an 8-point lead, just eating them up inside. Nice, strong move there. Take a peek at this move by Sherman Douglas on a 2-on-1. A great fake and a layup. Another look shows you just how great this fake was. He pretends he goes behind the back. Just a beautiful move. Syracuse leads down to 1 now with half a minute to go. Freshman Derek Coleman will miss the front end. And Indiana gets the ball back and a chance to win this thing. With everybody looking for Alford, it's Keith Smart who gets the call. He drills it. There it is from the corner. Syracuse does not call timeout. Clock ticks down to a second. Doesn't give you a whole lot of time. Orangemen can't even get the ball in. Indiana goes on to win it 74-73. And they are the national champions. Give you an idea how close this game really was. Indiana never led by more than 4 points in the basketball game. And joining us live from New Orleans is Channel 12's Rick O'Brien. Rick, don't want to say told you so, buddy, but told you so.
I'm sorry, Ron, I didn't hear your last comment. You just mentioned that Indiana never led by more than 4, but Syracuse sure did, and the Orangemen did not come away with a victory, as you mentioned. And I think you also mentioned that it was a great ending to the college basketball season, a top-notch game, and maybe your team didn't win, but only one team can. And we were pretty pleased and privileged to see that game in person here tonight. After the contest, some post-game interviews with the coaches, the winner and the loser. See if you can tell which is which.
And I'm still not sure we're a really good basketball team. I look at us, and Syracuse did some really good things against us today. And when we got a piece of the Big Ten championship, and I thought we might be able to do some things in the tournament. I honestly didn't think we could win the tournament. I didn't necessarily think that we had no chance at all either.
I thought our kids did everything we asked them to do the whole ball game, and it came down that somebody had to make a play at the end, and Indiana made a great play at the end of the ball game, and that's why they won it. They deserve it.
We weren't as sharp as we were Saturday. Syracuse did an excellent job changing defenses and had us standing around a little bit and guessing a little bit more than we should and not really getting the ball where we wanted to go throughout most of the ball game. I thought they did a hell of a job defensively.
This is a little bit worse probably because there's a little bit more importance involved in this game than any other game. But, no, it doesn't feel good.
I'm happy as hell that we won. I'm happy because I think we have great fans and great people, and they enjoy it, and it's great for them. Hell, if we'd have lost, I'd have gone fishing tomorrow. If we win, I'd go fishing later tomorrow.
If you're a college basketball fan, you have to be happy with the way the season went, with the way it ended tonight. A fantastic game. One-pointer. You did have a hero in Keith Smart of Indiana, and a noble effort by the losers, the Syracuse Orangemen. Now, if you're a local college basketball fan, the whole thing looks good. Tom Penders of URI, the District 1 Division I Coach of the Year, and Rick Pitino of Providence College, of course, the National Coach of the Year. So that's going to do it here from New Orleans. And, Ron, for the final time, I'll say, from the Channel 12 satellite truck, live via satellite, Rick O'Brien, Channel 12 Sports.
Come on home. We got some great weather waiting for you, Rick.
I can't wait.
Okay. AWOL Red Sox pitcher Roger Clemens made a counter-offer today, at least his agents did. Sox GM Lou Gorman says he's encouraged by the contact, but not enthusiastic about the deal at all, which is still very close to about $1 million a year. Red Sox waived pitcher Tim Lawler, can you believe it? And his $625,000 guaranteed salary, they ate it. They sent to the minors two shortstop Jody Reed, catcher John Marzano, pitcher Tom Bolton. Boston and the L.A. Dodgers rained out today. Atlanta beat the Yanks 6-1. The Bruins were off. Let's take a quick peek at the NHL scoreboard, I should say. The Rangers over Minnesota 6-5. That's a final. And would you believe they're still playing? Calgary 2-1 over Los Angeles in the second. People are still playing games at this time?
I guess.
I'll tell you.
I have a correction to make. That Vincent van Gogh painting, it went for more than $36 million, not $36,000. And we'll be right back in a moment.
No wonder I didn't bid on it.
Hood has milk to help you grow, milk to help slim you down, milk to shake you up. Hood milk for less cholesterol, milk with more calcium, and you know they're good because they're Hood. Hood, New England's favorite milks.
At Hood, we're so picky about the oranges that go into our orange juice, we even look under the hood. So if you're picky about orange juice, just look under the hood. Hood, the 100% pure and natural orange juice.
Hi, I'm Rick O'Brien, and here with me is Gregory Cambio, this year's poster child for the Rhode Island chapter of the Leukemia Society. We're here to tell you about the Fleet Climathon, taking place Friday, April 10th, at the Fleet National Bank Building in downtown Providence. Participants will climb up to 52 flights of stairs to benefit leukemia research and patient aid programs right at home in Rhode Island. So if you or your company want to be involved, please contact the Leukemia Society for more information. We hope to see you there.
Now, another note on tomorrow's weather.
If you want it.
Not really.
Just essentially drenched tomorrow, although perhaps better termed a washout. Might get as much as 3 inches of rain out of this whole thing. Probably won't be over until sometime on Wednesday. Ooh.
Yes. Right to a T. Ew. Finally, in our news tonight, the Oscars. Hollywood's biggest TV night. The 59th Annual Academy Awards were held in Los Angeles tonight. A surprise early winner was Woody Allen, getting an Oscar for Best Original Screenplay for his movie, Hannah and Her Sisters. Then, Diane Wiest received Best Supporting Actress Award for her work in the same movie. And then Michael Caine took an Oscar as Best Supporting Actor again in Hannah and Her Sisters. That's Marlene Matlin, who won Best Actress for Children of a Lesser God. And then Paul Newman won. Of course, as Betty Davis was to say, it's about time. Paul Newman won for Color of Money. The Best Picture of the year turned out to be, as everyone thought it would be, Platoon. That's our late report tonight, and our early report for tomorrow as well. I'm Walter Cryan.
And I'm Janice Glynn. Good night. Good morning.
Right now, people are racing to get to the season's hottest values at Apex Incredible March of Values event. Your last chance to save on hundreds of dollars of fine brand name merchandise, TVs, stereo and video equipment, washers, dryers, refrigerators, and lots more. But don't forget, time is running out. So before it's over, you'd better run out to Apex Fabulous March of Values event. The prices are going to amaze you.
That's right. Daytime's hottest talk show has moved to 4 o'clock. It's the Oprah Winfrey Show. Oprah Winfrey. She's a friend you can count on.
In bad times, I'll be on your side forevermore. Oh, that's what friends are for.
Join Oprah Winfrey at her new time, weekdays at 4 on Channel 12.
My family, when they gonna see this, they're gonna say, she's crazy. No, that's not nice. Ciao, ciao, bambina, ti rivedrò e poi per sempre ti lascerò. Parole semplici. Come on, let's do it. Ciao, I'm Aida. E vi parlo e vi guardo dal canale 12, in Providence da casa mia, nella sezione di Mount Pleasant. Bravissimo!
Hi, I'm Tiago Man. I'm